Japan did not lose the samurai in one great battle. The stranger story is that Japan itself decided they had become unnecessary. In just a few decades, the government stripped away privileges, changed old payments, restricted the public role of swords, and built a national army that no longer depended on a hereditary warrior class. But the weirdest part is this: many of the people losing that old world helped build the new Japan that replaced it. So what really happened to the samurai? To answer that, we have to start with how they became powerful in the first place. Samurai were not just people with swords and dramatic armor. They were tied to land, military service, powerful families, and the political order that shaped Japan for centuries. Over time, armed groups became essential to power. Military strength helped support lords, clans, and shoguns. The sword was not only a weapon, it was also a visible sign of status. And for a long time, that made sense. If power depended on warriors, then the warrior class mattered. But then came a problem that sounds almost like a joke until you think about it for 2 seconds. The samurai became too successful at creating order. During the long peace of the Edo period, battle was no longer the daily purpose of many samurai lives. They still had status. They still had rules, identity, and privilege. But many were not spending their lives charging across battlefields. Some became administrators, some dealt with records, taxes, offices, and government work. The armor still looked impressive, the sword still meant something, but paperwork was quietly winning more and more battles. That transformation did not destroy the samurai by itself. As long as Japan's old political structure remained stable, the system could still support them. Then, the outside world arrived with a different scale of power. In the 19th century, foreign ships pressured Japan to open. Suddenly, old military structures and feudal privileges looked fragile beside industrial power, modern weapons, factories, railways, and national armies. This was not just a technology problem, it was a power problem. The Meiji Restoration accelerated the shift. The new government wanted a centralized state, stronger national institutions, and a modern army. For a hereditary warrior class, that was dangerous. If ordinary men could be recruited into a national army, then military service no longer belonged exclusively to the samurai. The end did not come as one single dramatic announcement. It came step by step. Old domains were dismantled. Former payments and privileges came under pressure. The public role of the sword changed. A class that had once represented military authority was being pushed into a world where authority came from the modern state. For many samurai, this was not just a policy reform. It felt like the disappearance of an entire world. Some adapted, others resisted, rebellions followed, and this is where the story stops being visually funny. The end of a class also meant fear, anger, violence, loss, and death for real people. But the final answer is more interesting than the samurai disappeared. Many former samurai were absorbed into the new Japan. Some entered the modern military, others moved into bureaucracy, education, business, or politics. The official class ended, but many of its members helped build the country that made their old role obsolete. And then came the final irony. The less the samurai existed as a real social class, the larger they became as an image. Film, literature, games, and popular memory turned the samurai into a symbol, often cleaner and more heroic than the historical reality. So, what really happened to the samurai? They were not simply erased. They lost their exclusive military role, their inherited privileges, and their official place in a feudal order. But their people, their influence, and especially their image survived. The samurai disappeared as a class. As a myth, they became even bigger.